AITA for canceling my parents' anniversary trip after they complained my $7,000 gift wasn't enough? My name is Rachel Bennett. I am 28 years old, and I work as a marketing coordinator at a mid-sized company near the Loop in Chicago. I have been living alone for 5 years in an apartment in the Lakeview neighborhood. It is not huge, but it is mine, and I have worked hard to build this life for myself. My parents, George and Diane, are 62 and recently retired. My dad was an accountant for most of his life. My mom was a high school teacher. They live in the same house where we grew up in Oak Park. On a good day, it is a 30-minute drive. With traffic, it feels eternal. And then there is my sister, Taylor. She is 25, 3 years younger than me, and still lives with my parents. She works part-time at a boutique, and outside of that, her life boils down to going out, buying things, and hanging out with friends. For as long as I can remember, Taylor has been the favorite, though they would never say it that way. She is the one who can do no wrong. They applaud her for anything, while I, on the other hand, am the one who must be responsible, the one who has to understand, the one who is the eldest. In recent years, I have been the one to provide the money when things get complicated. 2 years ago, when my dad's car broke down, I gave them $1,200 for the repair. Last year, when my mom needed dental work, I paid $1,000. I never asked them to pay me back because, to me, that is how family works. If you can help, you help. But everything started to go wrong about a month ago. Like every Sunday, we went to my parents' house for dinner. The house smelled of home cooking, of pot roast and mashed potatoes. The 4 of us were at the usual wooden table, the one already marked with glass rings, homework stains, and from so many dinners I have lost count. My dad was serving when he cleared his throat and set down the spoon. "Your mother and I have an announcement," he said in that serious voice he uses when he wants to be heard. My sister clapped like a little girl. "What is it? What is it?" Taylor said excitedly. My dad looked at my mom and she sat up straight as if she were about to give a speech. "We are going to have a big party for our 35th wedding anniversary," my dad said. "Next month." "How lovely," I said, smiling. "Indeed," my mom said, fixing her gaze on me. "This year, your father and I are expecting special gifts from our children. It is an important anniversary." I felt a knot in my stomach, but I forced myself to smile. I had been saving money for months. I had not told them because I wanted it to be a surprise. "Do not worry, Mom," I said. "You are going to be very happy with what I have planned." Dinner continued as if nothing had happened, but I could not stop thinking about the gift. Over the following weeks, I would sit with my laptop at night searching for options. I wanted something big, something that truly felt like a way of saying, "Thank you for everything." In the end, I found the perfect plan. A week in the Riviera Maya for my parents. Flights to Cancun and then a transfer to the hotel. A 4-star hotel near the beach with great reviews, breakfast and lunch included. It was all very well put together. I got it at a good price by booking in advance and during the mid-season. In total, $7,000 for both of them. It was a huge amount for me. It was what I had managed to save with discipline by cutting expenses, by telling myself no to things I wanted, but I was genuinely excited. I decided to surprise them. The following Sunday, I prepared a presentation with photos of the hotel, the pool, the room, and the beach. It looked beautiful. When Sunday arrived, I was nervous, as if I were about to deliver important news. After dinner, I took the laptop out of my bag and placed it on the table. "I have something to show you," I said. My parents pulled their chairs closer. Taylor stood behind them as if she were part of the jury. I took a breath. "Surprise," I said, opening the presentation. "You are going to the Riviera Maya for a week." I showed them pictures of the hotel. "Look, it is very well rated. It includes breakfast and lunch every day. The beach is a few minutes walk away. There is a pool, activities, and you can visit natural sinkholes, Tulum, go on a catamaran ride, or simply relax." I kept talking excitedly, but suddenly I started to notice something strange. My mom's smile looked forced. My dad was nodding, but without emotion, and Taylor was pursing her lips as if she smelled something bad. When I finished, an uncomfortable silence fell. My mom was the first to speak. "And how much does that cost?" she asked as if she were interrogating a purchase. $7,000 for both of you," I said proudly. And honestly, it is a great deal for a week. There was no how exciting. There was no hug, nothing. Taylor let out a dry little laugh. That is so cheap, she said. I looked at her confused. What do you mean, so cheap? Taylor took the laptop, pulled it toward her, and started flipping back through the photos, looking for flaws as if it were her job. Look at this, Rachel, she said, pointing at the screen. It only includes 2 meals a day for them. What about dinner? Do you think that is a good gift? But the hotel has excellent reviews, I said, trying not to sound defensive. And besides, Taylor continued, as if she had not heard me, you say the beach is a few minutes walk. I mean walking? No. The beach has to be literally right outside the hotel. My heart started to beat faster, not from excitement, but from anger and embarrassment. Taylor, it is not far, I said. It is a short walk. She kept scrolling through the photos, twisting her mouth, criticizing everything. I would have never chosen this for my parents, she said, as if delivering a final verdict. My mom nodded without a second thought. Rachel, I was expecting something more elegant, my mom said. You have a job, you can afford it. You should double the budget, and then it would be something we would actually like. Felt like a slap in the face. Double it. I repeated. Of course, Taylor said, now enthusiastic. At the very least, tickets with preferred seating. You are not going to send them cramped in coach. And a 4-star hotel? No, Rachel. My parents need a 5-star one. A suite, a spa to be welcomed properly, to make it feel luxurious. Luxurious, I said, almost voiceless. Yes, she went on. With a minibar included, spa treatments, massages, dinners at nice restaurants, excursions. That is the bare minimum for an anniversary. I clenched my hands on my lap to keep them from trembling. Within my budget, this is one of the best options, I said slowly. $7,000 is not a small amount. It took me months. But Taylor was already on her phone, ignoring me completely. Done, she announced suddenly. I have found the perfect place. She went over to my mom and showed her the screen as if she were presenting a trophy. My mom leaned in, smiled, and nodded. This is the one, my mom said. I looked over her shoulder and nearly fell backward. How much does it cost? I asked. Taylor looked at me as if I were the slow one. $7,000 per person, she said calmly. Flight and everything. I was frozen. I did some quick math. $21,000 if 3 of you go, I said. Exactly, my mom replied, as if she were talking about buying groceries, and then she delivered the final blow. Taylor should go with us, my mom said, still looking at the hotel on the phone. Since she was the one who found something so nice. I felt my stomach sink. What do you mean Taylor should go with you? I said. Why? My dad spoke for the first time since it all began, his voice serious as if it were obvious. Because someone has to help us, he said. We are getting older, and traveling is more complicated for us. Taylor understands these things, she knows about hotels and how to manage all that. Taylor smiled happily. Yes, I would help you, she said. Reservations, spa, dinners, everything. My mom looked up at me. So that would be $21,000 in total, she said. $7,000 each. The air left my lungs. That money was almost everything I had managed to save in years. It was not just a purchase. It was my cushion, my peace of mind, my security. The 3 of them stared at me as if they were waiting for me to say, of course, right away. I looked at them and the only thing I felt was disbelief. This is insane, I said quietly. What is so insane about wanting the best for your parents? Taylor snapped, offended. I found them the perfect trip. You should be thanking me. My chest burned. You want me to pay $21,000 for a trip that was my gift for 2 people, and has now turned into a luxury trip for 3? I asked. That is right, my mom said without hesitation. That is what we expect from you. I was quiet for a few seconds. Not because I had nothing to say, but because in that moment the reality of it all hit me like a ton of bricks. I had been doing this for years. I remembered when I bought my dad a big screen TV for his birthday. Cost me $800, and for me it was a stretch. Instead of being excited, he complained. You should have bought a bigger one, he said. You should not be stingy with family. Then my mom's cell phone about 6 months ago. I gave her $700 to buy a new one. She was annoyed. Well, this one turned out to be so basic, she said. Oh well. I will have to make do. I told her I had a similar one, and she responded as if I had disrespected her. Do not compare, she said. It is not the same. And every Christmas was the same. They would give me a gift list with each item costing $250 or $300, as if I were a department store. And when it was my turn, their gifts were cheap, on-sale items without any thought as to whether I would like them. One year it was a green scarf when they know perfectly well I do not like to wear green. Another year it was a plain mug, the kind you buy just to get it over with. Suddenly I felt tired, truly exhausted. I calmly closed the laptop and put it back in my bag. You know what? I said, looking at the three of them. You are absolutely right. My mom frowned, confused. What are you talking about? This trip is not for you, I said. I get it now. You want something much more expensive and luxurious than what I can give. I stood up and slung my bag over my shoulder. You have very high standards, I said, and I cannot meet them. Rachel, where are you going? My dad asked. Home, I replied. Taylor let out a laugh as if I were making a scene. Rachel, do not be ridiculous, my mom said. We are talking about your gift, are we not? I answered, looking her straight in the eye. We are talking about Taylor's gift. She is the one who chose the hotel. She knows about luxury. She is the one who wants to go help you. So she already knows how to solve everything. I walked to the door, and the saddest part was that no one stopped me. No one said, wait, or tried to hold me back. No one said, let us talk about this. They stayed at the table, looking at Taylor's phone as if I no longer mattered. On the way back to my apartment, I drove with my hands gripping the steering wheel, replaying the conversation over and over, getting angrier with each minute. It was nighttime and traffic was lighter, but I felt a weight on my chest. When I got home, I made myself a coffee and sat at my kitchen table. My hands were shaking from a mix of anger and sadness. I remembered when I first started helping them with money. First, they were grateful. My dad would hug me, my mom would get sentimental. They told me they did not know what they would do without me. But at some point that ended. My help stopped feeling like something they appreciated and became an obligation. And worse, nothing was ever enough. I picked up my phone. First, I canceled the hotel. I had booked with a flexible cancellation policy, precisely to avoid risking so much money. So they returned my deposit without any issues. Then I canceled the flights. They did charge me a penalty of about $200, but I did not even care. And still, the only thing I felt was relief. I hung up and sat there with a strange mixture of feelings. Sadness, yes, but also peace. The peace of knowing I had managed to stop everything before throwing my savings away on a gift that no one valued. I took a hot shower, trying to wash away the knot in my chest. I thought maybe they will get over it, maybe they will call me and say they went too far. But that did not happen. The next few days were pure silence. Until Wednesday night, while I was making myself some dinner, I got an email notification. It was from Taylor. The subject line read, "Trip breakdown and costs." I felt the blood drain from my face. I opened the email and saw a spreadsheet, as if I were a company. Everything was itemized. Flights with preferred seating for 3. A suite in a 5-star hotel, spa, dinners, excursions, spending money. At the bottom in bold letters was the total, $21,000. And the message ended with a sentence that made me laugh but out of rage. Rachel, transfer this amount to my parents' bank account by Friday at the latest to finalize the reservations. They gave us 48 hours to confirm. I stared at the screen as if this were normal. I deleted the email without replying. The next day, the phone started ringing early. First my mom, I let it ring. Then my dad, then Taylor. I put my phone on silent. By the end of Thursday, I had missed calls and messages from several relatives, as if I had committed a crime. Friday was worse, starting at 6:30 in the morning. Calls and more calls. During my work break, I opened some of the messages. Taylor had sent about 10. The first ones were reminders, somewhat polite. Then they became demanding. "The hotel is holding the suite," one said. "We need to pay today or we lose everything." My mom's messages were pure emotional blackmail. Your father and I sacrificed our whole lives for you, she wrote. The least you can do is give us the anniversary we deserve. Then she finished with something that hurt more than I wanted to admit. If you are not going to give the gift Taylor chose, do not even show up to the party. My dad wrote less but was just as manipulative. Your mother is very upset. Fix this. I put my phone in my desk drawer. I tried to work, but it was impossible. Every vibration made my blood boil. That night, I finally decided I was not going to keep avoiding it. I had already taken off my shoes and was about to put something on TV and make myself some tea when I heard loud knocking at the door. The kind of knocking a neighbor does not make. I went to the door, looked through the peephole, and there they were. My mom, my dad, and Taylor. It was almost 10 o'clock at night. I opened it but left the security chain on. What are you doing here at this hour? I asked. Rachel, we need to talk, my dad said firmly. Open up, my mom demanded without a greeting. I sighed and unfastened the chain. My mom pushed past me first, my dad behind her, and Taylor did not even look at me. They walked in as if they owned my apartment. Taylor got straight to the point. Have you lost your mind? She said. First you promise them a trip and then you cancel everything. What is wrong with you? I took a slow breath. According to you, my gift was too cheap, I said. I was just following your advice. Do not play dumb, my mom said sharply. You know perfectly well what we expect. $21,000, I said, looking at her. For a trip that started as a gift for 2 and ended up as a luxury trip for 3. Taylor has to go, my dad said. She found the perfect place and she is going to help us. I stared at him without blinking. Then let Taylor pay for it, I said. If she has such good taste and is so eager to go. Taylor raised her voice. It does not work that way, she said. You promised the gift. You cannot back out now. I offered a $7,000 trip for my parents, I responded. That was my gift. You scorned it and chose something else that costs triple. That is no longer my responsibility. My mom stood up, red with anger. You are selfish and ungrateful, she said. We gave you life, we raised you, we fed you, we clothed you, we paid for your school. We deserve more. And that is when something inside me snapped. And I have been helping you for years, I said, raising my voice. I have given you thousands and thousands of dollars, money I never asked for back. I did it because I thought you needed help, because in the end you were my parents. It was your duty, my dad said dryly. My duty, I repeated, feeling my throat tremble. My duty was to help when it was truly needed, and I did. But my duty is not to maintain a luxury lifestyle for you forever. We are not asking for forever, Taylor said. Just this one trip. This $21,000 trip, I shot back. Plus the TV I bought Dad that he did not like. Plus the money for Mom's phone that was not good enough. Plus the lists of expensive gifts every Christmas while I get random things. The 3 of them started talking at once. My mom was complaining, my dad was saying I was wrong, Taylor was saying I was a bad daughter. All at the same time. Enough. I exploded. Get out. Get out of my house. They fell silent for a second, stunned. Out right now or I am calling the police, I said, my voice trembling but firm. My mom looked at me as if she could not believe I would do it. You would not dare. I grabbed my phone and started dialing. Try me. My dad took my mom's arm. Diane, let us go, he said, gritting his teeth. We will sort this out later. As she was leaving, Taylor threw one last jab at me. Everyone is going to know what kind of daughter you are. I opened the door and met their gazes without flinching. Good, I said. But tell the whole story. Tell them you demanded $21,000. Tell them how you despise the gift I could actually afford. Tell them everything. They left, slamming the door. I locked it, put the chain on, and collapsed onto the sofa. My hands were shaking from the adrenaline. I could not believe it. My own family came to my house at night to demand money from me. The next day, the phone started ringing again at 6 in the morning. But now it was not just them. It was everyone. Aunts, uncles, cousins, even my grandmother, whom I had not seen in a long time. My parents had called half the world to tell their version of the story. The first was my cousin Natalie. Rachel, what is going on? She said. Your mom called me crying. She said you canceled the anniversary trip. I bit my tongue to keep from screaming. Natalie, I said, tired. I can only do what is within my budget. I offered them a big gift and they scorned it. She sighed. Well, what if you try to reach an agreement? She said, as if it were a simple negotiation. Then my Aunt Melissa called, and she was not calling to understand. She was calling to scold me. Rachel, what a disgrace, she said. How can you treat your parents like that? They gave you everything, and now you abandon them when they need you most. They do not need me, I replied. They want me to pay for a trip that costs more than what many people earn in months. Well, it is their anniversary, she said. They deserve to celebrate. And your mother is suffering. Your father got very sick over this. Fix it. Even my grandmother, Grandma Evelyn, called me with her soft voice. Rachel, your parents are very sad, she told me. Do not be hard on them. Do what you can to make them happy. That weekend, I spoke with more than 15 relatives. First, I tried to explain. After a while, I stopped. I gave everyone the same answer. I can only do what is within my means. The following Monday, my mom sent me a message. Rachel, you are not invited to the anniversary party. It would be embarrassing for you to come because everyone will ask about you, and I will have to tell them how selfish and ungrateful you are. I stared at the screen for a while. Yes, it hurt. Because even though I was angry, they are still my parents. But I also felt relief, an ugly but real relief. I replied, that is fine. That way I will not have to see the look of disappointment on your faces. When I sent that, I thought it was over, that they would have their party, complain, and then time would sort everything out. But that same week, just a few days before the anniversary, my mom surprised me again. I received a payment request through my banking app for $3,500, with a note, down payment for the anniversary party banquet. I was floored. After kicking me out of the party, she still wanted me to pay for part of it. I declined the request immediately. An hour later, my mom texted me, Rachel, you already tricked us with the trip. The least you can do is pay the deposit. It is only $3,500. I did not reply. The anniversary arrived that Saturday. I did not go, not even close. I stayed in my apartment, trying not to imagine everyone gathered without me. A few days later, I ran into my cousin Brandon at the supermarket. He greeted me awkwardly, as if with pity. I have to tell you something, he said, lowering his voice. The party was not what they said it would be. What happened? I asked. Brandon looked around as if he were afraid someone would hear him. In the end, they just had a barbecue in the backyard, he said. Your mom cooked. They brought out plastic tables and chairs from the garage, and everything was served on disposable plates. And the guests, about 20 people, he said. And honestly, your parents looked miserable the whole time. They just kept complaining about you. It was uncomfortable. Nobody knew what to say. I felt a little sad, yes, but not enough to regret my decision. Did they ask about me? I said. Yes, a few did, he answered. Your mom said you were very selfish. But people are not stupid, Rachel. You could tell. Many of them just stayed quiet. It was obvious there was another side to the story. After that, silence. Months of silence. No calls, no messages, no payment requests, nothing. And I, for the first time in years, breathed without guilt, without waiting for another, hey, we need. Without feeling that any gift I gave would be criticized. I focused on my life, my work, my finances. And yes, sometimes it hurt. Because it is not nice to feel like your own family sees you as a wallet. But the peace was real. Until 6 months later, something I did not expect happened. I was at the office when a delivery person arrived with a huge bouquet of flowers and an elegant box. The kind that looks expensive, truly. It had a card. It said it was from my mom, my dad, and Taylor. I opened the box right there at my desk with people walking by. It was a beautiful coffee set. Fine cups, saucers, a matching coffee pot. The kind you would display to impress someone important, to place in your kitchen with pride. And there was a handwritten note. Rachel, we are sorry for how things turned out with the anniversary. We hope you can forgive us. With love, Mom and Dad. I stared at the gift for a long time. In years, it was the first time they had given me something that seemed thought out for me, something that matched my taste, something that felt like an attempt to reconnect. That set easily cost a few $100s. It was not just any mug. It was not a random scarf. But I could not shake the feeling that there was something behind it. After demanding $21,000 from me, after uninviting me from their party, after trying to get me to pay the banquet deposit, now suddenly they were generous and even apologizing. It did not add up. My parents have never been the type to admit mistakes, never the type to say, "I was wrong," much less to apologize. So why now? Did they truly understand they had gone too far? Or was this another way to pull me back in? A nice gift to make me soften up and go back to being the one who pays, the one who puts up with it, the one who has to understand? I took the flowers and the coffee set home to my apartment that night and placed them on my kitchen counter. They looked incredible, and the note, if someone read it without context, would sound sincere. But I could not just send a thank you just like that. Not after everything. An expensive gift and a short apology do not erase years of demands, of criticism, of feeling that nothing I do is ever enough. So I remained silent. I kept the gift, yes, I will not deny it. I liked it, I thought it was beautiful, and a part of me wanted to believe it was sincere. But I did not call, I did not text. I just waited. Because if this was real, if they truly wanted to change, they would show it over time, not with a pretty box. And if it was a trap, I was not going to fall for it so easily again. Comment. I really appreciate stories like this because they quietly remind me how important it is to value my own worth. Setting clear boundaries has never been easy for me, but every time I do it, I feel a little lighter inside. We all want to be kind to our family, yet I have learned that true kindness also means protecting my own peace. Taking responsibility for what I can give, and what I cannot has helped me breathe easier. Healing does not always come with big, dramatic moments. Sometimes it starts the day we simply stop accepting what drains us. I have started choosing calm over endless obligations, and it has changed how I show up in every relationship. If something feels off in your heart, it is okay to pause and ask yourself what you truly need. You deserve relationships that respect your limits and celebrate your efforts. Little by little, putting yourself first creates space for genuine love and respect to grow. I hope this encourages you to reflect on your own life and keep choosing the path that brings you lasting peace. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.